150-plus tidal wave auto spa locations today.
Shohei Ohtani walks the Braves off. The Braves now 0-7 on the year. I'm Barrett Sallee, and this is your Braves Radio Network Morning Update.
Get Clean Car happy all season long at Tidal Wave with exclusive membership discounts, giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information.
Shohei Ohtani, like a Hollywood script, walked the Braves off with a solo shot in the bottom of the ninth to give the Dodgers a 6-5 win over the Braves. They sweep the series over the Braves, and the Braves come home 0-7 to start the season. There was some good news for the Braves, though. Nick Allen, Ozzie Albies, and Matt Olson all had RBI doubles, 5 for 15 with runners in scoring position. So the Braves bats starting to come alive a little bit. But that doesn't change the fact that this has been one of the most unimpressive stretches in Braves history. Will it return to home help? Well, we'll see. Spencer Schwellenbach will take the mound for the Braves. Max Meyer going for the Marlins. Braves and Marlins coming up on Friday night on the Braves Radio Network. You can hear all the coverage right here starting Friday night.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's daily update on Bama sports and is brought to you by The Good Feet Store. The Good Feet Store, for over 25 years, helping people get back to the life they love without their feet getting in the way. Start your journey at goodfeet.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On today's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll be joined by Alabama football wide receiver Isaiah Horton.
It's Alabama, you know what I'm saying? It's standard college football. All the history that Alabama has, you know what I'm saying? I've always wanted to be a part of something like this. And ever since I've got here, it's like you said, a dream come true. Like it's everything, to the training, to the, you know what I'm saying, nutrition, equipment, everything is A1 and everybody's respectful with it. Everybody's, you know what I'm saying, like everything is just exactly what I thought it would be. Yeah, we're working real hard to get in those positions in the fall. You know what I'm saying? We're taking it very serious. We understand, like I've been saying, we understand what's ahead of us. We understand like we have the team to accomplish what we need to accomplish. All we got to do is just keep our head down, grind, and go 1-0 every day.
I'll have more in a moment.
This is Christian Miller for the Good Feet Store. I know from playing football at Alabama and in the NFL that if you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, it can be a huge challenge. The Good Feet Store is designed to personally fit you with arch supports that alleviate and even eliminate your pain altogether. Try them before you buy them. They're in your free, no obligation, personalized fitting, and you can wear them home the same day. So if you're looking to improve your game, the Good Feet Store has you covered. Stop in for a free, personalized fitting today. Roll to victory at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com. Roll Tide.
Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I abuse you.
The lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. You're listening to another station I don't understand. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. They go up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Did somebody respond?
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Throwback Thursday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. We are on location at the patio at Hickory Store Barbecue on Blake Bottom Road in Monrovia. Hickory Store is one of our featured restaurants on Big Zone Deals, and you could snag $50 worth of it for just $25 right now. This place has an amazing menu, has a very cool vibe, indoors, outdoors. They got big TVs here. They got a big fireplace out here on the patio, and they got this really cool indoor-outdoor bar. I mean, I promise you, it is a little bit off the beaten path, but it's well worth the visit. Many of you have taken advantage of it in the past as well, and we'll have an opportunity to take advantage of it as well right now by going in there and snagging some of that hickory and that barbecue and that brisket that those of you I think could see in the picture behind me. Those of you that are watching on X, we do welcome you, and folks watching on Facebook and on YouTube as well. You can check that out if you haven't yet. Those of you that are listening on the apps, your phone lines are open at 256-576-4977. You can also text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. That is a great way to communicate with us as well. My personal X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. Now, coming up on the show today, Josh Carey is back for some country hardball talk. We were out at Toyota Field this morning for the Meet the Team Media Day. And then tomorrow night, the season opens with the Chattanooga Lookouts in the building for the weekend. Of course, you'll hear all of those games on our sister station, Talk Radio WZZM, with Josh Carey. The place looks absolutely amazing. The field, I couldn't get over how great the field looked after they had the softball extravaganza in there last month. Apparently, they put a big tarp down before they put the dirt down for the baseball, but they did replace the entire infield. It looks like a major league field. I mean, I've walked on the field at Truist Park. This field looks every bit as nice as that field, and it's just absolutely gorgeous out there. In the second hour of the show today, Ken Mastrole of the Mastrole Passing Academy in Miami will join us with his take on the quarterbacks in this draft. Now, he has a few clients that will be selected at some point in time in the draft, but he's had a good look at Cam Ward as well, who everybody is convinced now will be the number one pick by the Titans. And then there is Shedeur Sanders. He is the enigma of the draft. It looks like he's sliding. Will he slide? Does Daddy Dion cause a concern for some folks out there? Is it his antics, the watch thing, and so on and so forth? Is it that? Was he a product of the system out there? We'll see. But it's going to be one of the fascinating things in the draft to see is exactly where the Shedeur Sanders goes in this draft. And we got to look at the other guys in this draft. There's Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss, who seems to have worked his way into the first round. There's that kid from Louisville by the name of Tyler Shaw, 6'5", 225-pound gunslinger. He's been moving up the boards. Speaking of enigmas, Jalen Milroe. I mean, it was a time during the season when everybody thought Jalen Milroe was a top 5 pick in the draft. And then by the end of the season, it was like Jalen Milroe, can he play a different position because he's not an NFL quarterback? I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is. Is he Jalen Hurts? I don't think so. Jalen Hurts went to Oklahoma and really refined his passing attack. Could Jalen Milroe become a better passer and then add that to the dynamic running ability that he has? He's big like Dante Culpepper back in the day, but I don't know if he's that guy. I mean, that's one to watch. Quinn Ewers out of Texas, Kyle McCord out of Syracuse, a little bit undersized guy, but another guy that's very, very mobile as well. What about Riley Leonard? You know, Dylan Gabriel, who's a little bit small at 5'11". How about Will Howard, who won the Natty for Ohio State? I mean, the odds are a few of these guys are going to be good NFL quarterbacks. You know, it's not a great class, but there is some depth to this class. And you have to consider this. Yes, can you get gems throughout the draft? Yes, you certainly can. But a staggering 18 of the top 20 quarterbacks in the league last year, based on QBR, were first rounders. I mean, only Brock Purdy, the last pick in the draft 4 years ago, at number 7 in QBR, and Jalen Hurts, who was a high second rounder at number 10, were not first rounders. And for what it's worth, Will Levis was 32nd out of 32 starters last year in total QBR. His PAA, which is the number of points contributed by a quarterback above the level of the average quarterback, in the NFL, all right, so you take the average quarterback in the NFL, and then you look at the points contributed by your quarterback. Was he above or below average? His PAA was minus 32 points. By 18 points, worse than anyone else in the league. Now, contrast that with the top 3 guys last season, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. They all had PAAs of over plus 50. Okay, 50 more points contributed to their team than the average quarterback. And Will Levis was minus 32. That's just one metric. There are a lot of metrics. Will doesn't do well in a lot of them. However, I'm still not ready to give up on a kid. I don't think 2 years is enough. I mean, this day and age, this is what we do. I don't know that 2 years is enough to evaluate that totally. Our long national nightmare continues as the Braves lost again last night, this time in the most brutal of ways. I mean, they jumped on the Dodgers for 5 runs early. They led 5-0 in the second inning, blew that lead. Were tied at 5 in the bottom of the 9th when Shohei Ohtani took the first pitch he sees from Raziel Iglesias over the center field wall. I mean, the Braves, they might as well send Julio Iglesias out there. 0-7 now, coming home for the home opener tomorrow night against the Marlins, who are 4-3 as a starter this year. The Braves, by the way, according to Vegas, are still minus 200 or so to make the playoffs, meaning that you'd have to, I think they're minus 230 to make the playoffs right now, which means you would have to put $230 down on the Braves to make 100 back. You'd have to put $23 down to make $10 back. That means they're more than a prohibitive favorite to do something nobody has ever done in the history of baseball, make the playoffs after opening the season 0-7. And that's even with the expanded playoffs. So we'll see. In the meantime, the Dodgers are now 8-0. It's the best record to start a season by any defending champ. And get this, they're only a half game up on the Padres, who are now 7-0. Nobody's even talking about the fact that the San Diego Padres are 7-0. Of course, 4 of those were against the Braves, but they're 7-0. In fact, the San Francisco Giants are 5-1. And the D-backs, who beat the Yankees again last night, are 4-2. I mean, what a week it was for the NL West. All right, back at Mission Control. Playing the platters that matter to Stacks of Wax, answering the phones, keeping us on the air. It's Jumpin' Joe Hunk.
Do you know who I am?
No, who is this?
Who is this guy?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I'm very important.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I don't like violence. I'm a businessman.
You want to boo me? Fine.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
Know your role and shut your mouth. You jabroni.
Good show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
I will not wear that body.
So, Joe, are you a barbecue kind of guy at all? Are you a guy that enjoys a good barbecue?
Oh, absolutely. No, that's probably the first place I look for whenever I go anywhere is for barbecue.
Here at Hickory Store Craft Barbecue, I had the brisket. It's Brisket Thursday out here. So if you're coming on out, come on out and have the brisket. It is amazing. And, Joe, I never knew anything about brisket. I sat there and I grilled Glenn McAlpin, owner out here, about brisket. Joe, do you know where the brisket comes from?
The brisket store.
Do you know? You see the brisket behind me, right, Joe? I mean,
yes, and I'm trying to wonder why it's behind you.
It's behind me so that people can see the brisket. You know what I mean? Because I'm at the barbecue joint. You don't like the brisket behind me?
You're literally sitting on a patio that you've talked about how awesome it is, and we can't see it.
All right. Well, you're right. I am sitting on a patio that is awesome. The problem is if I get rid of my brisket behind me. See, I wasn't sure whether or not you'd want me to go with it. See, what's behind me if I get rid of the brisket is a white wall. I mean, it's a white brick wall. That's what's behind me. And now I could show you the patio here. Let me just give you a little peek at the patio scenario. Here we go. I mean, I can leave it over that way, But see, there's the fireplace. There's the big fans that's over the top.
Yeah, that's what we want to
the-
see. That's what
there-
we want to see on WZZN TV.
Look at that. There's the cool indoor-outdoor bar. See, there's the outdoor part of the bar. The bar goes inside the store as well. They got a stage over here where they do the live music. They got the big, huge, screen TVs behind that. That's kind of the lay of the land. I can point it that way, just leave it pointed that way the whole time.
I mean, that's what Moulton does.
But he doesn't want anybody to see him.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at that. I love that. Like that right there. If I was anything, I would have actually told you to turn around and show that stuff and have that behind you instead of the white wall.
I should have. That's probably what I should have done was I could have had that in my background. There you go. How about
that right there is that's a place that you want to go hang out at. Like that's that's what I'm staring at right now. Like that looks awesome. Even the Jingo table right there.
All right, so there you go. So we're on Jenga, made out of 2x4s. That's like giant Jenga. All right, so I can leave it there. I mean, I don't need to see me. I mean, I'm just saying, the peeps probably don't need to see me. So there you go.
That looks awesome. That's where you should keep, like right there, or you should move around where that's behind you. That looks good.
You know what? I should have done that. You know what? I might can do that.
I mean,
I want to sit here and look out at the peeps and stuff, and the parking lot and everything. People coming and going. A lot of people inside. Not many people out here. With one table being used out here, one high top out here on the patio. But yeah, if all I need to do is jump on the other side of the table.
This is a quick little turn. Sorry,
I could do that. I could probably make that happen. We'll see if we can't get that. We can see if we can't get that done. Yeah. Joe, if they just got whacked again last night, that would be one thing. But to lose in the fashion that they lost, to build a 5-0 lead, for the bats to look like they were coming around, and then to get whacked like that, not score anymore after the second inning, and then to turn around and blow that game late in the 8th and 9th inning and have Shohei Ohtani rake on the first pitch he sees in the bottom of the 9th against Iglesias. I mean, that's just brutal. What a brutal flight that had to be coming back to Atlanta.
Well, no, it does. But also, it's not like Iglesias' pitch was right down the middle. I mean, Shohei literally took a ball that was high and outside and put it 400 feet. Like, if he takes that and he doesn't even swing at it, that's ball one. Like, he swung at a pitch outside the strike zone and did that. Like, I can't even be upset with the pitch because that was a good pitch. It had a tail on it. Like, you watch it, go back and watch it.
It's a good pitch.
It's a fantastic pitch.
But it shouldn't be 5-5 is what I'm saying.
And I understand that part, but I'm just like, I know everybody's focusing on the Shohei part, but I'm like, there's a reason why this guy is who he is, because that shouldn't have even been swung at. And not only does he swing it and make contact, he puts it 400 feet, and you're just like, I mean, I can't do anything more than that. Yeah.
It was his third home run of the season in the first 8 games of the season. I think it's his first one stateside. I think he hit the other 2 home runs he hit in Japan. It's weird. I mean, we're talking about them being 8-0. They played all their games at home. They played 6 games at home, the Dodgers, and 2 games in Japan, which were basically like home games for them. So it's kind of weird to consider, is this an 8-0 that we just, we consider it the same. By the way, it was the 1933 Yankees that they beat the record of that were 7-0 coming off a World Series win. It's just kind of weird. And the other part of it is, Joe, $399 million payroll. I mean, can we get a freaking salary cap, a real salary cap in baseball? $399 million payroll. It's not even close to the rest of baseball. It's ridiculous.
Honestly, if they truly wanted to, they probably could have just turned around and bought the A's and just kept them in Oakland because they're spending so much money. Because I think that's pretty much how much the A's actually cost, is about $300-something million. And I mean, yes, they should have a salary cap. Until they do, this is what you're going to get when the owners actually do want to spend the money on the players. So I can't fault the owners for playing within the means of it. And if they have the money to pay for the luxury tax and they're like, okay, that's fine by me, which is exactly what they're doing, is they're saying, all right, well, this is what we have to pay on the luxury tax. Cool. Let's set this aside. That'll go for there. Let's go ahead and get the notoriety on it. And until you get a real penalty on it, which would be a salary cap, or you're taking away your draft picks or anything like that, then you're going to get stuff like this, which is also part of the reason why you can't be mad at the Braves for getting swept in this series, because you had to go up against like Cy Young winner after Cy Young winner after Cy Young winner. Like, it wasn't like you were going up against two pitchers that were in Double-A last week. Like, you're going up against great
the Braves
pitchers.
are right in the middle of the pack. You would think that, $200 million in payroll would have you somewhere higher than the middle of the pack. They're at $212 million in payroll, and that's 13th in Major League Baseball in their total payroll. Their active payroll is lower than that because $139 million there. They got $53 million worth of payroll sitting on the IL right now. I mean, so that's a significant deal as well. But, I said $399 million. I think that's when you add in Shohei's real cost. Right now it's listed for the Dodgers as $330 million, but he's making $3 million a year because he deferred all of that money. So it's kind of like it's a misnomer, really, when you look at it like that. Philadelphia second, Mets third, Toronto fourth, Texas Rangers, Chicago White Sox, the Yankees. Everybody talks about the Yankees spending. The Yankees are a seventh right now, but the Yankees have $100 million on injured reserve right now. So when you look at total payroll, the Yankees are third, but active payroll, the Yankees are like seventh because they got $97.5 million sitting on the IL because of Garrett Cole and because of Giancarlo Stanton, basically. But they've got to get this thing under control, because when you get to the bottom half, the second half even, we're talking about people like the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, this is a storied, they've won the second most World Series of anybody, $134 million in payroll. That's 19th in all of baseball. And then how to if you're a fan of like the Milwaukee Brewers or the Cincinnati Reds, $115 million, the Brewers $110 million. And my God, the Miami Marlins, they're 4-3 right now. The Miami Marlins payroll, their total payroll is $67 million. $67 million. How do they compete with people that got payrolls of $250 to $300 million?
That's why you see them having teams like the Rays having to get more creative. That's the reason why we have the opener. That's the reason why we've seen the shift, all that sort of stuff. They have to get more creative with it because they can't pay for the talent once the talent becomes good. They have to draft better. I mean, that's it. And also there's nothing holding their owners back from spending that money.
Well, there is to a certain extent, because their owners, see, the owner of the Dodgers is one of the richest men in the entire world. Not all of these owners are, richest men in the entire world. And not all of these owners, some of these owners, like the Steinbrenners are actually, it's a business for them. They're actually trying to make money. The question is, are the Dodgers making money with $330 million payroll? Maybe, because of all the money that they're raking in from Japan and everything else. It'd be very interesting to see if the Dodgers operate at a net profit with a $330 million payroll. Because some of these owners, they don't care. It's not about the money, because they're like, oh, who cares if we lose a little bit of money?
No, they don't care whatsoever, because it's a tax write-off. And a lot of times it is. Like, you see so many fans right now that are in Sacramento booing the A's that are A's fans, and they're really still chanting sell the team and all of that. Yeah. It's because, again, their team does not want to spend any sort of money whatsoever, where, again, in their same state, they have a team that's like, okay, cool, that guy's the best player right now. Let's go ahead and get him. Let's give him whatever he needs.
It reminds me of a story from 1961. Not that I heard the story. I mean, I was a baby. Okay, I was like a little baby. I was still in a diaper. I don't even know if I was walking yet. I probably was walking. I walked at 7 months old. I don't know if you knew that, Joe. I did. I walked at 7 months old. Of course I did. But it reminds me of a story from 1961 when Lamar Hunt, right? He was Lamar Hunt, the senior Lamar Hunt, the original owner of the Dallas Texans, who had moved to become the Kansas City Chiefs. And it was after the first year of the AFL. Now, it's 1961 money, right? So they're having a press conference with the owner, and he was talking about Lamar Hunt Jr., which was the Lamar Hunt that, the soccer tycoon and everything else. But he was talking about him and his son and the football team and how it had gone. And so one of the reporters said to Lamar Hunt, he said, the team last year, what's your reaction to the fact that the team last year lost $1 million in the first year in the AFL? They had $1 million loss. And Lamar Hunt turned in a report. And he said, really? $1 million? Wow. He says, at that rate, will only last another 100 years. That's the kind of money these people have. All right. That's the kind of cake that these people have. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, Josh Carey will join us. We're talking some country hardball next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show, live from Hickory Store Craft Barbecue.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa, starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. Ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
Talking baseball, Lazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Well, Casey was winning, Hank Aaron was beginning, one Robbie going out, one coming in. Kiner and Midget Goodell, Thumper and Mel Parnell. Hank was the only one winning down in Washington. Talking
and welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. Hey, did you hear it's laundry season? It's baseball season, but it's also laundry season, and you need to get on in to Owens Home Appliance Center and take a look at the washers and dryers that they've got down there at Owens Home Appliance Center, because they can take care of you for sure. And look, they got all the brands. They got all the major brands, but they have also got that 2-in-1 GE profile that washes and dries a load of clothes, which is pretty cool. All in one machine. I mean, that's just whacked the way that works out. So check them out. It's Owen Home Appliance Center, just 8 miles south of the river on 231. Quality products, quality prices, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center. All right, Joe. Shane in Decatur swung by here, and he just helped me swing the table around. Is this better?
That looks much better.
Is this better? Okay.
That's Hickory Store right there.
Yes, Hickory Store Barbecue. Now you can see it plainly behind me. The only negative is I just realized, Joe, now I have my back to the peeps. Anybody that comes in, they come in through the back, and all they're seeing is the back of my bald head, and I'm sitting here facing the stage. So, but it is what it is, right? It's not about the few people that come by here. It's about the people that are listening and watching out there. And so now we've cleaned that up. By the way, Shane in Decatur says that he was listening to you, Joe, this morning, and he said that Shane's a big Braves fan.
Yeah.
And he said that you gave him hope and that you were right, and that when the injuries, when Ronald's in there and he's the spark and all this other kind of stuff, that they're going to be fine, that there's not going to be any pressure.
Yeah.
So you're giving hope to the Brave fan right now. That's what you're doing.
Between the injuries and the fact that the Braves never play well, obviously it's hard to play well in Dodger Stadium because it's the Dodgers, but they never play well in San Diego. The fact that you do not have to think about going back over there for the rest of the season to either one of those, I am all for it.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right, let's go to the lines now, and we are joined by Josh Carey. We talked some country hardball with him. I saw Josh out at Toyota Field earlier, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Josh, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. It was good seeing you a couple hours ago, and can't wait for tomorrow. Excited for opening day.
Yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow either. And I was stunned by how good the field looks. I was very concerned because it was, February and they had the softball thing and all of that. And I just was thinking that, this is awfully, early in the year to be growing grass and everything else. And, little faith by me. And I needed to have a little more faith in the grounds crew out there. What a tremendous job those guys did. And that place looks incredible.
Yeah, well, Charlie Weaver is the guy who heads all that up. He's a Huntsville native, went to UAH, played baseball there. He takes a lot of passion in his job. And in fact, a couple of years ago, he was named the minor league groundskeeper of the year. And he really showed why this offseason. Our organization really put a lot on his shoulders, trying to get that softball event on and then converting it back to a baseball field. Here's what's amazing. We had a baseball series between UNA and West Point.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, we had it at a softball field. He got it done. And then golly, it must have been maybe 3 weeks once the softball event ended, we had Auburn baseball. So he's a genius. I mean, the guy is just magical at his job, and he and his crew have done a whale of a job getting that thing ready for play.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, we got a chance to meet some of the guys and so on and talk to some of the guys. We were talking to Christian Moore, you and I, and he was looking for some place to play golf. And, of course, I'm telling him about Cherokee Ridge and how outstanding it is and everything else. But it occurs to me, these guys only got Mondays off, and most of the golf courses are closed on Mondays. I don't know when he's going to be able to go out there and play a little golf.
Well, I think after a couple of weeks, he's going to realize that maybe that Monday off day needs to be used. But the guys, you're right. They do. If there's one constant in baseball, it's the fact that players love golf, and so a lot of the coaches I know like to use that Monday to go out and about. And there are a lot of options out there. Hopefully, they'll be able to find something. But I know the guys, they just love to compete, and whether they're competing against each other or just against themselves, golf is a way to keep the competitive juices going on their one off day.
Yeah, well, of course, the stories are legendary. Pitchers are very good golfers because they only pitch once a week, but the legendary stories of the golf that was played back in the day by John Smoltz and Thom Glavine and Greg Maddux and those guys, they would go out and play together. If it wasn't a day that they were pitching, and they had some serious matches. And Smoltz was really good. Smoltz thought about taking a shot at the senior tour, I think, at one point.
Yeah, and I think he would have been good enough to make it too. But you bring up a good point. To be specific, it's usually the starting pitchers who excel, because once they have their one day of pitching, they have the other 4 days to go out there, play a full 18 if they want to, if they can get up early enough, or if they can find a course on the road, maybe just get 9 in. And once they do that, then they head over to the ballpark and start being a professional athlete again. But when you have a lot of time on your hands, it's easy to pick up another hobby, and that's what a lot of those guys do.
So I got the roster in front of me for tomorrow night for the opening day roster, and I see 16 or 17 pitchers on this thing. What's the deal here with this? What is the number of guys that they can actually have active each game night?
Well, the active roster is 28. And so if you have 16 on there, that leaves you 12 position players, and that's about right. The Angels have always been Carey and his crew. They've always gone a little overboard with pitching first. If you remember, they were the team that had the all pitchers draft back in 2020 or 2021. I forget which year. So they've always been very aggressive with their pitchers. And right now there are a lot of position players who they feel very confident in, who are going to need a lot of reps. And so there are a lot of the guys who are not pitchers you're going to see out in the field plenty during the course of the season. So it's an exciting time, and it's a fun time as well.
I guess I was slightly surprised to see Christian Moore, the great run that he had in the few weeks really that he played with the Trash Pandas last year. I didn't know that we would see him back, but the first round pick from 2024, 8th overall out of Tennessee, back in Rocket City, at least for now. And, he looks like he's ready to go. That's going to be that's worth the price of admission coming out. And I guess he's got a bobblehead night coming up in the not too distant future. People are going to want to get that one.
Yeah, well, it's going to be April 8th, this upcoming Tuesday. And, you say the Christian Moore, you're surprised to see him and all that. He's here for now, and we don't know how long that'll be. For his sake, I hope it's not too long, because I think he's shown the mettle to be able to play at a higher level. Now, with that said, the Angels know a lot more than me. And with that being said, I'm sure there's just some things they want him to touch up on before they consider moving him up. I mean, you got to remember, at this time last year, he was still playing for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Yeah.
And, it's been a meteoric rise for him. I always think back to Zach Neto when people ask me about Christian. You remember he had that great into the 2022 season for the Trash Pandas. A lot of people thought he would start 23 with Los Angeles. And they said no. They sent him back to Rocket City. It was only for about a week or so before he got called up. But the Angels, there are just certain things they want to be very particular that they touch on with Christian. Obviously, they've got a former infielder as their manager in Ron Washington. Defense is a priority for him. And I know that's one of the things they want him to work on. So there's some things just for Christian to touch up on, but he's on the way up, and hopefully he'll make his way, if not to L.A., then certainly to Salt Lake very soon.
Another fan favorite is back, Sonny DeShera, Sonny D, back, assumed to play first base, and we'll see some of him as, he's at that point in time now, 5th rounder in 2022. He's at that point now where, all right, you're 25, you're AA, it's time to see what you got and see if you can start moving.
Yeah, and I think he's moving in the right direction. Last season, he spent most of the year at low A ball and struggled, but then they decided to bump him up to high A in Tri-City, Pasco, Washington. And that league, the Northwest League, is a notorious pitchers-laden league, and he dominated. He had over 300. He looked really good, and he looks like he's starting to come into his own a little bit. I think hindsight's always 20/20, but they decided to put him at AA when he came out of college, and it was just too big of a rush for him. Now that he's been able to work through A ball and make the move up to AA, hopefully he can really come into his own. But you're right. It's pretty much do or die time for him, because 25 at AA is not where you want to be. He's got to start to make a move right now.
Only 4 outfielders listed on the roster right now, and obviously there are other guys that could maybe go out there and play in a pinch if they needed it. But is that typical, or does that seem like we're a little light in the outfield roster?
No, I think 4 outfielders is okay. You got to remember, you only need 3 for the game, and then you have 1 on the bench, and you can interchange the 4th outfielder whenever you need to. So, again, you would like to maybe have 1 more guy out there, but when you're carrying that many pitchers, you're going to be shorthanded somewhere. And at the end of the day, if one of those pitchers gets bumped to AAA or up to the majors, then maybe you can pull someone from A ball to come in and fill in a spot in the outfield as well. So, like, as we know, when it comes to rosters at the minor league level, it's a constantly moving piece, and we'll see what happens over the next few weeks.
What do you know about Luke Murphy? Speaking of 25-year-olds, I mean, this is a fourth rounder out of 2021. He's a Vanderbilt kid from Springfield, Tennessee, not too far from home for him. What can you tell us about the big lanky right-hander?
Yeah, well, Luke, this is going to be his fourth go-around with us, and he's one of those guys who showed a lot of promise early. Good fastball, good slider combo. Just got to work on his confidence. Control was a real issue for him last year. And he's one of those guys who does get down on himself a little bit when he struggles. So he's got the ability to be a major league reliever, no question. He's just got to be consistent with getting the ball over the plate. Again, fourth go around. Hopefully, this is the time that he starts to turn the corner, if you will. He struggled early last season, then wound up closing for High A Tri-City last season. Hopefully, this is the year where he really comes into his own.
So how do you say the name of this kid from Verona, Italy, the left-handed pitcher? I'm not even going to give it a shot, and I'm Italian, and I'm usually pretty good with Italian names, so I'm sure you've been boning up on it. How do you say this kid's name?
It's Sam Aldegheri, and he was part of the trade with Carlos Estevez last season. It was he and George Clausen. They both came over from the Phillies for Estevez, who became a closer for Philadelphia last season. And Aldegheri actually pitched, I think, 4 or 5 games with us before getting called up to the majors. He was the first native Italian to pitch in Major League Baseball since, I believe, the 40s. Struggled a little bit, but he's been sent back down here. They're going to have him work up a few things, and hopefully he'll make it back to the show before you know it.
Do they play like it's Amore when he comes in? Comes in to pitch, or I mean, you got to have some fun with that.
No, but you know what? Here's the cool thing. When he was in Philadelphia, they were already building up like a Rocky theme around him. Italian Stallion and all that stuff. And obviously that all went to the wayside. But he's a smart kid. He understands, the culture and, what that meant being in Philadelphia and Rocky and all that stuff. So he's very boned up on American culture and has been is very well liked in the clubhouse as well. He's one of those guys who really has an opportunity to have a nice career for himself. Just got to work on a few things, just like all these guys do.
I thought it was pretty cool. I think it was Cole Fontenelle that came over to us. You and I were talking, and we were by the media scrum, and I think it was Cole Fontenelle that came over, and he says, "Man, it's really great to be back. This is a great place. I really love it here." You don't generally hear that necessarily out of a guy that's, in Double-A, because from the career standpoint, they want to move. But it seemed like that is a common theme, that kids love playing in this building and they love playing in this town and the reception that they get and a decent crowd every night and all that good stuff.
You know what was funny? John Boy Media, they did a sort of a tour of major league ball players during spring training and asked them kind of where their top minor league stops were. And David Fry, who's now with the Guardians, he was with Biloxi and the Brewers back in 21 when they came through Rocket City, and that was one of his top stops in his minor league career. It's just a very special place to play baseball. Guys love it. They love the atmosphere. They love the energy that the crowd brings every night, and it's something that we take a lot of pride in as an organization, being able to provide a quasi major league atmosphere for these guys. So it's something we look forward to every year, and we look forward to more of it this season.
I didn't see any. Some of the guys had bats on their shoulder when they came out. I did not see any torpedo bats. Do you think that we'll see a torpedo bat I mean, it is the Rocket City, you know what I mean? And it's the Rocket City Trash Pandas. I think, they ought to have a torpedo bat giveaway, a mini torpedo bat, if you will. But are any of the guys rocking the torpedo bat?
Not yet. I know Christian Moore and Tucker Flint are both very interested in purchasing a couple. And if they do, I'd love to see it, because I think that those two could do some serious damage. But they know it's out there, and they know, and some of these guys have the money to get that stuff. So we'll see what happens. It wouldn't surprise me if in the next month or so we see a couple of those.
All right. Talk the Josh Carey with us here, of the famous Carey broadcasting family, and of course the voice of the Rock City Trash Pandas. Talk Braves fan off of the ledge right now at 0-7, opening night at home tomorrow against the Marlins, who, by the way, opened 4-3 in their first week of the season. So, and they could be sneaky good, but Tell us why we shouldn't be panicking about the Braves. No team that ever started 0-7, even in expanded playoffs, have ever made the playoffs, but the Braves are still better than even money to make the playoffs. They're almost kind of treating this like a 7-game soft spot in the middle of July.
So you got 155 games to go. If you're going to start 0-7, you may as well do it against the only 2 teams that still haven't lost a game this season, and that's the Padres and the Dodgers. The entire AL Central is 2-4. Right now, the Cardinals have a winning record. The Angels have a winning record. Like you said, the Marlins have a winning record. It's 1 week, so it's okay. Check that. It's not okay. You're 0-7, but everything should be okay. They're going to get Acuna back. Spencer Strider is back in a few weeks. You're going to get Sean Murphy as well. Right now, you're not playing with your full deck right now. I looked at the lineup last night. There were a couple of guys in the bottom 3 or 4 of the order. There were a couple of guys who I didn't even know existed. Man. So they're not playing at a full strength right now. At the same time, you're a little disappointed with how things turned out, but you know that things only are going to hopefully smoothen out from this point forward. So still a long way to go, a lot of time to catch up, and it's easier to get in the playoffs now than it has ever been in Major League Baseball. So they should be able to make up a lot of ground, even though it's going to be a very tough East this year.
You'll hear the dulcet tones of Josh Carey beginning tomorrow night. Big Chris Smith will be with you in the booth. Is that right?
He will. Chris Harris, he'll be back.
Chris Harris,
yeah, it's all right. First game as an official Trash Panda, but he's been in that ballpark many times before. 15 years in the Southern League. I look forward to having him.
He was with the Stars. He had a minute. Yeah. He had a cup of coffee with the Stars back in the day, as well. So he knows of the area.
Well, here's the story behind that. He was actually the last voice of the Stars. So in 2015, the Stars had moved to Biloxi, become the Shuckers. They fell behind on the building of their stadium down there. So they had to open 2015 here in Huntsville, playing at Joe Davis, which was beyond repair at that point. And he was the voice for those 10 or 15 games or however many they played. So he was actually the final voice of the Stars before the team moved to Biloxi.
That's good. That's good intel there. Tomorrow night you'll hear him over on our sister station, of course, Talk Radio WZZN. And what time do you guys get things started with the with the pregame?
Pregame will be at 6:20, first pitch at 6:35, 15-minute pregame show before every Trash Pandas contest, and of course a postgame after the ball game as well.
Is that our new time all summer long, 6:35 for first pitch, or what's the deal with that? Because that's kind of nice. I mean, it gets you out of the building by 8:15 or so, 8:30.
For the most part, it'll be 6:35. Tuesday through Saturday. We have 3 11:05 games at home for Education Day.
Yeah.
Sunday games will be at 2:35, and of course, when we're on the road, the start time will be all over the place. But just go to our website, trashpandasbaseball.com. Click on the schedule. That'll give you all the start times, both home and away.
Always a pleasure, Josh. I appreciate you, man. Keep up the great work, and good luck this season.
All right, Tom. Thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you guys, and let's have a good one tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to being out at the stadium on Wednesday of next week. Joe, are you coming out with me or not? Did we decide that?
I mean, I'm there. I mean, we don't even have to have anybody on the board. I'll just come out there and hang out, and just we'll just hang.
Yeah, well, I was I didn't know. Sometimes you got a UAH thing or whatever. I want to make sure that you're good to go. All right, so Joe will be out there with me, and so that'll be a lot of fun. As well, and we'll be out there. Come and see us next Wednesday out there for the first Education Day as well. All right, we'll get a break in here. When we come back, an interesting story that's popping on AL.com, and I want to comment on it. We'll do that next. Phone lines are open, 256-5764-97.7. It's the Thom Abraham Show, live from Hickory Store Craft Barbecue.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Men's Final Four Saturday night, just after 6 Eastern. Auburn a 2.5-point underdog against the Florida Gators. The Tigers at plus 130. The over-under is 159.5. The Tigers arrived in San Antonio on Wednesday to start preparing. Off day for the Braves today. They start the season 0-7 after a 6-5 loss last night on the road at Los Angeles against the Dodgers. Atlanta still among betting favorites to win the World Series, though, at plus 1,000. Holding steady at plus 550 to win the National League pennant. NASCAR Cup Series, Goodyear 400. Kyle Larson plus 450 to take the checkered flag. Tyler Reddick plus 650. Denny Hamlin plus 700. I'm Chuck Sanders on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Countdown to the 2025 Trash Pandas season is on. Tickets are available for the full 2025 home schedule, including opening night on Friday, April 4th. But it doesn't end there. The Trash Pandas season opens with 9 home games in 10 days, featuring theme nights, giveaways, fireworks, and more. This opening homestand has it all. For more information, check us out online at trashpandasbaseball.com.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. We'll keep high temperatures in the forecast in the mid-80s for this afternoon. We'll start the day off mostly cloudy, gradually becoming partly sunny by the afternoon. Wind gusts as high as 25 miles per hour going to be a possibility. We'll stay quiet heading into Thursday night. Low temperatures falling into the upper 60s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Never miss a second of Huntsville Havoc hockey. It's it back to Ruffin. That's good. Huntsville has tied it up. 6 men on the ice. 1 puck into the net. Tie game. The Havoc Zone. Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back to Brisket Thursday. at Hickory Store Barbecue. Don't forget, you can go to Big Zone Deals right now and get $50 worth of Hickory Store Barbecue for just 25 bones. They sold out last time we had them up. There's about 30 left right now, so you're going to want to go check that out. It's an amazing menu, cool vibe here as well at Hickory Store Barbecue. All right, Joe. Oh, by the way, this segment of the show brought to you by our good friends at Woody Anderson Ford. At Woody Anderson Ford, their award-winning service department can take care of your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or not. Routine checkups or even bigger problems, because they got expert service technicians can diagnose it. They use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. It's Woody Anderson Ford. Make an appointment. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com. Check out the mobile service as well at Woody Anderson Ford. Joe, AL.com is doing something interesting. I usually don't get into all these goofy brackets. You know, they do the brackets during the March Madness. They'll do the bracket of actresses and the bracket of best sports movie and the bracket of this and that. They did a bracket, though, on AL.com of the best Auburn football player of all time and the best Alabama football player of all time. And in the Auburn division, Cam Newton, it's been a walk. I mean, they put Nick Farley on the list. I mean, come on, get out of here with it. Cam Newton took down Nick Farley. He took down who else did he take down? Derek Brown, and now he is in the semifinal, and it looks like he's against Pat, or who is it? I don't know, Tracy Rocker or Pat Sullivan. Pat Sullivan. He's against Pat Sullivan. So it's Cam Newton or Pat Sullivan. No disrespect to the dead. It's Cam Newton. Okay, let's just stop that right there. And then in the other semifinal, it's Bo Jackson and Cadillac Williams. Of all teams that are out there, of all major college football programs, Joe, I think you would agree, you're an Auburn fan, but I think you would agree that Auburn has two that are different than everybody else. You can't you can't put Cadillac Williams and Frank Sanders and Ed King and these guys. And they could have started this off with the semifinal. Cam Newton or Bo Jackson. Could have just done that.
I don't even know why you're doing the bracket challenge, because it's Bo Jackson, and that's the answer.
You know, I feel that way, and then I go back and I just think about that one year of Cam Newton and what that kid did. I mean, and I don't like Cam Newton. I just say that right off the top. And I love Bo Jackson. But what Cam Newton did with the 50 combined touchdowns, rushing and passing, and what he did throwing the ball as well as running the ball, and the comeback and winning the national championship. I don't know, Joe. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'd love to see the listeners respond to that. We got open lines at the top of the hour, and we'll tell you what the Alabama list was. But Cam Newton or Bo Jackson, I don't know that it's a lead pipe that it's Bo Jackson. Just because he's a better dude.
Oh, I mean, I love Cam. I have nothing with him. I mean, I saw him in Vegas. Talked to him for a little bit. Like, he's a great guy. I have nothing against him. I'm just saying, from athlete to athlete, comparing the two, it's Bo.
256-576-4977. Lines are open. When we return, we add the Nashville audience as well, right here in the Thom Abraham Show. Back with more in a moment.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Patriots trading quarterback Joe Milton III and a 7th-round pick to the Cowboys for Dallas's compensatory 5th-rounder. Milton will back up starter Dak Prescott. A pair of teams separated by just 2 games clash tonight in a pivotal NBA Western Conference showdown. Warriors-Lakers. Golden State 5th in the West, 19-5 since acquiring Jimmy Butler. A move coach Steve Kerr has said saved their season. LA 3rd in the West, brought in a season saver of its own before the deadline. Luka Doncic averaging over 27 points a game. Tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Grizzlies at the Heat. Miami's 9th in the East. Memphis is 8th in the West. NHL Blues put their 10-game winning streak on the line tonight versus the Penguins, 8 Eastern ESPN+. St. Louis and Minnesota tied for the 2 wildcard spots in the West.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
97.7.
You need to move more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs. This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you. So settle in and get your bark on. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elmer Pearson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Brisket Thursday in the Doghouse as we come to you from the patio at Hickory Store Barbecue, Blake Bottom Road in Monrovia, Alabama. And if you're in the region, this is where you want to come on down. Hickory Store is a tremendous restaurant, and right now you can snag on Big Zone deals. You can snag $50 worth for just $25. The place has an amazing menu, a cool vibe. It's indoor, outdoor. They got big TVs. They got a big fireplace. We're out on the patio. They got an indoor-outdoor bar. It is very, very cool. I know it's a little bit off the beaten path, but it's well worth the visit. We welcome those of you that are watching on the X and the Facebook and the YouTube, and check that out if you haven't yet. Those of you listening on apps as well from the various stations, we welcome those of you also listening over the air. The lines are open at 256-5764-97.7. You can text the show, 7329-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. That's a great way to communicate with us. My personal X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. We are welcoming in a new audience here in Nashville on 95.9 and in Murfreesboro 107.9 on 560 AM as well. WNSR in the Music City, of course, our flagship station, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone out of Huntsville. And then we're also on WCDT in Winchester, Tennessee, 1340 on the AM dial, 106.9 on the FM dial. Coming up in the next segment of the show, Ken Mastrole will join us from the Mastrole Passing Academy in Miami with his take on the quarterbacks in the draft. He has a few clients that will be selected at some point in time in this draft, but he's had a good up-close look at Cam Ward as well. Everyone now is saying that Cam Ward will be the number one pick by the Titans, and then there's the issue of Shedeur Sanders, which is an enigma in this draft. I mean, he's up, he's down, he's going to be the second pick, he's going to be the 12th pick. It's all over the place. And I don't know if he will slide or not. I suspect that he will, and I don't know if Daddy Dion is part of the problem for some folks, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's a product of the system up there. Maybe that's some of that as well. There are other quarterbacks in the draft other than those two guys. Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss has worked his way into the first round. That kid from Louisville, Tyler Show, is, he's 6'5", 225 pounds, and he's been moving up a lot of boards. Jalen Milroe. What do you do with Jalen Milroe? And then there's Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, Riley Leonard, Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard. There are a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. It's not considered, a great draft for quarterbacks, but there is a lot of guys. It's a deep draft of just dudes, of Jags. The guys are just a guy. That's what we used to call him in the coaching circles. We'd call a guy a Jag. He's just a guy who can help you, but he's just a guy. You know what I mean? He's not a great quarterback. He's not next to Peyton Manning. He's not, great. He's just a guy. All right. And we'll see, how these guys work out. So one of them is going to be good. You don't know. One of them will be good. Jumpin' Joe Hunk mixing the show as well back in Mission Control. And Joe, I had this stat, a staggering 18 of the top 20 quarterbacks in the league last year based on QBR were first rounders. It's only Brock Purdy, who was the last pick in the draft 4 years ago, and Jalen Hurts, who was a high second rounder, who was at number 10 on the list of QBR. Those are the only guys that were not first round guys. So as much as we poo-poo the fact that we don't know about these first round guys and who's going to survive and who's going to be any good, the reality is all the good quarterbacks are first round guys.
Well, and a lot of that also goes to the team that they're playing for. I mean, again, a lot of times these great quarterbacks or quarterbacks that could be good in the NFL are going to awful teams. And so that's kind of where you look at a lot of their success as well, is dictated on the skill position players that they have. And so that's only not saying about, Jalen or anybody else that is having success, but when you fall to the Eagles, it's not like you fell to the Panthers, like what we saw with Bryce Young. Like Bryce Young is still like I'm seeing video of him in the offseason. People are like, oh, this guy's improving and all that. Well, we're now into year 3 of that, and that man almost literally died on this field at Nissan Stadium.
But he came back in. Yeah, when he came back in, he played good. He played better when he came back in.
Yeah.
And in that list of guys that were first rounders, Lamar Jackson, it was in the middle of the first round. He went to Baltimore. Of course, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, who went to a bad team last year and made them a playoff team. Jordan Love's a first round guy. Jared Goff, people forget, was the first pick in the draft overall. Patrick Mahomes was, I think, number 10 pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he was the 10th pick in the first round. Sat a year. Kyler Murray. These are all the guys number-wise. Justin Herbert's a first-round guy. Matthew Stafford. Baker Mayfield. We didn't even think about Baker anymore, but Baker was the number 1 pick in the draft. The year that Sam Darnold went after Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold was a top 20 quarterback last year. Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Bo Nix was ranked 18th in the league last year. He was the 6th quarterback taken, but he was like the 14th pick or something like that in the first round. Jameis Winston, who was the first pick overall in the draft in 2015, right before Marcus Mariota. He was 19th. Bryce Young was 20th. So, these quarterbacks are guys that are taken in the first round. Now, you say, well, what about Will Levis? He was taken at the top of the second round. Where was he in QBR? Joe, of the 32 starting quarterbacks, he was 32. And his PAA, all right, the PAA is a specific thing. It's the number of points contributed by a quarterback, accounting for their QBR and how much he plays above the level of the average quarterback in the league. So you take the average, and then you say, how many points does this guy account for? His PAA was negative 32. So if the average quarterback was 0, Will Levis was 32 points to the negative in terms of, what he contributed to the Titans. And by 18 points, he was the worst. I mean, he was like, not only was he bad, he was like really bad, all the way at the bottom. And the guys at the top, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, those guys were 57, plus 57, plus 53, plus 59. They were 60 points to the better for their team. Will Levis was 32 points to the negative of average. So not even average. I still don't want to throw him in the garbage, but I didn't realize. I mean, his numbers were really bad, Joe.
Well, no, they are bad, and it's because what he's doing at practice, he can do fantastically, but then once you get into game situations, it's not translating. And a lot of this is between his ears, because during practice, he makes the right decisions. He makes the right check downs. He's able to read the defenses the way that he wants to. He doesn't rush his throws. He doesn't do any of that stuff. Then you get him at Nissan Stadium and he panics. And he tries to do way more than what he needs to and all that. And look, he's looked great. I mean, last preseason and last training camp, like I'm sitting back there and I'm staring at him and I'm thinking, this guy's about to take a major leap as a quarterback. And then he does it. This is all on him, because all the coaches are preaching to him is exactly what you should be preaching. It has nothing to do with what the coaching staff is saying to him. This is on Will Levis. And if he wants to grow as a quarterback, then he's going to have to make a lot of changes between the ears and coming in what he's reading and reading defenses. And if he doesn't, then he's going to be a backup.
Brutal loss for the Braves last night. Absolutely brutal loss, because, not that they're 0-7. They were up 5-0 after 2 innings. All right. And the unknown texter accurately points out that they were all 5 unearned runs. I don't care if they spotted you to 5. I don't care if you got to the stadium and they said, you know what, we're going to give you 5. Whatever it was, they were up 5-0 in the second inning. They were up 5-0 in the second inning. Don't score again throughout the rest of the game. The Dodgers chip away, and then Shohei Ohtani in the bottom of the 9th takes the first pitch he sees 400 feet. It was a good pitch. And he knocks the thing 400 feet. All right. Just a horrible loss. They come home at 0-7. The Dodgers are 8-0. And, oh, by the way, the Padres are 7-0. And the Giants are 5-1. That's a pretty good week by the NL West. That's for sure. And, look, the Dodgers are $333 million payroll. Okay. Way over the cap, which is a soft cap. And I mentioned the luxury tax. I got some texts in there about it from a couple of people that said, what is this luxury tax thing? We just assume everybody understands everything, about sports, Joe, because, we're professionals at this. So we kind of know what the luxury tax is and what all of that is. So let me just explain. Baseball does not have a hard salary cap. Every other sport has a hard salary cap. All right. In the NFL, the salary cap this year, it grew, I think, to 239 or 240, something like that. You got to cut people. You have got to be under that. That's the cap. You have got to renegotiate contracts with your heavy hitters. Whatever you got to do, you have got to get yourself under that cap. That's a hard cap. In baseball, the salary cap is $241 million. 241, basically about the same as what it is in the NFL for 53 guys. That's what it is in baseball, but it's their 40-man roster. Okay, not just the 25 guys, 26 guys that are in the majors, their 40-man roster. So what happens is it's $241 million in quote-unquote cap, but you can go over the cap. And if you go over the cap, you have to pay a tax on the money that is over the cap, over that threshold of $241 million. You pay a tax, and that money goes back into the hopper, and it gets split up amongst other teams in revenue sharing and other things. Now, it starts out, if you go over the cap this year, and it's the first time you've been over the cap, you pay a 20% tax. So let's take the Dodgers. Let's say they're roughly $100 million over the cap. The Dodgers would owe baseball, okay, $20 million. They got to pay $20 million into the hopper for being over the cap. So $100 million costs you $120 million. But if this is the second straight year that you're over the cap, now it's 30%. If it's the third straight time you're over the cap, it's 50%. The Dodgers have been over the cap since ever. Okay? I got to – if you're over the cap for the fourth straight year, and Joe, you got to do the research on this to see how many years in a row the Dodgers have been over the cap. If you are over the cap for 4 straight years, the tax is 75%. What is this, Massachusetts? 75%. So if you're $100 million over the cap, you got to pay another $75 million into baseball. Okay? Now, where does that money go? It goes into player benefit. It goes into player retirement accounts. It goes into revenue sharing. And then a small portion of it goes to the commissioner's supplemental discretionary fund. It's not his own slush fund. It's just a... Now, in 2024, last year, okay, a record 9 teams exceeded the luxury tax. Dodgers, Mets, Yankees owing the largest amount. The Dodgers last year paid $103 million in luxury tax. $103 million in luxury tax. The total amount of luxury tax that was paid last year was $311 million. Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Braves paid a little bit. Rangers, Astros, Giants, and Cubs all paid in. And what I don't like about the system, Joe, is these teams that have these minuscule payrolls, the A's, the Marlins, these teams that have these small payrolls, they're getting a chunk of that money.
Yes.
So not only do they, because there's no floor. When you have a salary cap, you need to have a salary floor. And so if you have, there should be a cap of $241 million. There should be a floor of like $120 million. You shouldn't be able to sit there, have a $70 million payroll and mooch off of the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees and the Cubs. We're sending you money.
So right now, the Dodgers are on pace to pay $149 million.
Oh my God!
In the luxury tax.
In the luxury tax,
there are 7 teams right now.
So 333 plus 140. So the Dodgers, it's costing them $470 million.
The total with tax payroll and their actual salary means that they are right now at $548 million is what they're going to pay this year.
$548 million.
There are 7 teams right now that are over that 241. That's going to be the Red Sox, the Padres, the Blue Jays, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers. And to the teams, as you're curious about who at the moment is spending the least amount of money, that is the Miami Marlins, the Chicago White Sox, and the Tampa Bay Rays.
I mean, it's
the luxury tax for the Dodgers right now would actually still be more than 9 other teams' payroll for this year.
I mean, it's just nuts.
$149 million means that they would actually be the 21st team in baseball if you were just using their tax bill as part of what teams are currently spending right now on payroll, which is more than the Rockies, Reds, Brewers, Nationals, Guardians, the Sacramento Athletics,
Indians,
and Pirates, Rays, White Sox, and Marlins.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, we'll get a break in here. When we come back, Ken Mastrole will join us from the Mastrole Passing Academy. We're talking quarterbacks with the official quarterback guru of the Thom Abraham Show, Ken Mastrole. We'll do that next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Men's Final Four Saturday night, just after 6 Eastern. Auburn a 2.5-point underdog against the Florida Gators. The Tigers at plus 130. The over-under is 159.5. The Tigers arrived in San Antonio on Wednesday to start preparing. Off day for the Braves today. They start the season 0-7 after a 6-5 loss last night on the road at Los Angeles against the Dodgers. Atlanta still among betting favorites to win the World Series, though, at plus 1,000. Holding steady at plus 550 to win the National League pennant. NASCAR Cup Series, Goodyear 400. Kyle Larson plus 450 to take the checkered flag. Tyler Reddick plus 650. Denny Hamlin plus 700. I'm Chuck Sanders on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
Countdown to the 2025 Trash Panda season is on. Tickets are available for the full 2025 home schedule, including opening night on Friday, April 4th. But it doesn't end there. The Trash Panda season opens with 9 home games in 10 days, featuring theme nights, giveaways, fireworks, and more. This opening homestand has it all. For more information, check us out online at trashpandasbaseball.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Upper 60s expected for this Thursday night. We'll continue to sit under a partly cloudy sky, but heading into our Friday, we'll continue to see mostly clouds in the forecast. There's a small opportunity for a little bit of rain heading into the afternoon. High temperatures once again stay warm and above average, reaching the mid-80s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And welcome back to Tom Abraham Show. On location, Hickory Store Craft Barbecue in Monrovia. Glad that you are with us today. Ken Mastrole, I've known Ken Mastrole, I guess, 20 years. Played at Maryland back in the day. A cup of coffee with the Chicago Bears. Played in the Arena League, and he has run the Mastrole Passing Academy now for a number of years. They deal not only with high school age kids, college age kids, they deal with guys preparing for the draft as well. He's got a number of clients that are going to hopefully be selected in this upcoming draft, and he joins us now in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Kenny, welcome in, my friend. It's been too long.
It has, Tom. I appreciate you having me on. Hopefully that barbecue's pretty good where you're at right now.
Man, I'd say it's brisket Thursday here. I had the brisket earlier. Man, I'll tell you to die for, man. That brisket's some good. They can make some brisket over here. Before we get to what's going on in this draft, I'm curious as to your thoughts about everything that's going on with NIL. You played at Maryland 25 years ago or so now, or I guess 30 guys, it's been 30 years
ago. Old, man.
It's like 30 years ago. It's like 30 years ago. What you could tell us now? I mean, it's not like your eligibility is all gone. They're not going to come in. What did Ken Mastrole get for being the quarterback at Maryland back in the day? What kind of little special incentives did you get for being the quarterback at Maryland 30 years ago?
I got my picture on a poster along with a couple other guys, and then I think my parents got a couple of like stitched hats that they got maybe a 10% discount at the local college bookstore. I think that was the highlight of it. Or maybe we got like a free lunch, but the NCAA would have, you would have sat for 4 years if you got something for free there in college. But no, we didn't get much. That's for sure. Some books. We got our books paid for. Right?
And you didn't go to 4 schools in 4 or 5 years or anything like that. You didn't transfer every 20 minutes. Every time you didn't, every time you threw an incompletion, you didn't transfer. Get a free transfer here. Everybody gets to move everywhere, right?
I know it's insane what's going on today, but hopefully they'll get some guardrails up for this thing. And I'm all about the kids making money, but come on, when they're going out buying crazy stuff, is it really like about the kids, or is it just about to pay us the most? So, anyways,
if I could have given you one or the other, if I could tell 19-year-old Ken Mastrole that you can either have NIL or you can have free transfers and just keep moving until you're playing someplace that you want to be at or whatever, which do you think is more valuable, the cake or the ability to move, as many times as you want without having to sit out?
I mean, it's so hard these days, Tom. I threw my hat in the ring now, like not only doing private coaching and training pro guys, but I'm going in to be an OC QB coach here in Southwest Florida at a really good school. And we've got some Power 4 kids, like legit Power 4 kids at the school. So I get a chance to talk to all these college coaches that are coming through recruiting guys. And what it's turning into is hey, we're going to take some kids, but now it's becoming hey, if we can get a kid out of the portal, or if we can take a kid from even the Ivy League or a smaller scale school,
right?
We're going to pluck him out. We know he's mature enough. He's been through all these meetings. He's developed. I've got real game film on him against competition. I like him. Let's take him, and that's becoming now hard on the high school kids. So, I'm going to roll with the NIL money, especially what you get paid in terms of the slotted positions and being drafted. I'd rather go in there and sign what the kid from Michigan's getting. I mean, if you're going to pay me $10 to $12 million, or you're going to give me $1 million, that's more money than I'm going to make with the chances of making it to the NFL and the percentages there. So, I mean, you'd be crazy not to stay and try to play. I think bouncing around just kills your development. I mean, unless it's a case like Cam Ward, obviously, and that was he's done nothing but climb to the top. So that's in a positive manner. Some of these kids are just making lateral moves, and it's not working out for them.
Brock Purdy hasn't made $1 million in 1 year yet. I mean, think about all the quarterbacks in college that are making over $1 million, and several $1 million what the kid is going to be making in Michigan. Brock Purdy hasn't made $1 million in one season yet. He had a little signing bonus, but he was the last kid drafted. Now he's going to get paid. when you deal with your current college age clients, I mean, do you try to encourage them to stay and let as a last resort to make that move? Because there is a value to sitting a little bit, right? There is a value to maturing, to being working on your craft and whatever. And we see that Arch Manning has stayed at Texas. He certainly could have left and started at many places, but he chose to stay there, and I think he'll be there for the next 2 years as the starting quarterback. But it is part of your advising when you're advising these guys, not just about footwork and hand placement on the ball, but about, don't be so quick to try to jump out of a school.
Yeah, I think it starts at the early age. So like a lot of things that we try to get across to the parents, and I've connected with some former college coaches that coach with me now. One of them being a guy named Ken O'Keefe that coached a number of years at Iowa. I was with the Dolphins for 5 years. So like the things that we try to instill in the high school players, and I'm doing this as a high school coach, is like, we want to build the leadership component, right? So again, it's going to start the foundation in the family. Like, what's the family directing them? But if we can get around these kids long enough and start instilling like good core values, principles, like hard work, competing, the psychological side of it. When I get the college kids that come down, and hopefully now I'm getting to the age where it's like, God, I've got guys that have gone through like high school all the way up playing in the NFL. I just try to talk to them and advise them about like, some of the pitfalls. Like, you want them to trust you, so you don't want to be like their sole advisor. But yeah, definitely like, hey, let's look at these circumstances. You can keep bouncing around, but let's use the numbers and just hang in there. Like, let's find out your deficiencies. And a lot of people won't point out what their deficiencies are. So we do some things like mental testing to test some certain things, how they're wired. That's been done through like psychology. And a lot of the stuff, when you start getting into the nitty gritty of it, you're just trying to help them. And I think they see that. Some of them will take it, but obviously, others are going to kind of go in the way that they're directed. But we definitely try to incorporate that, Tom. That's like a big thing beyond all the fundamental stuff. Is like teaching these kids really like life skills, leadership in areas that they're lacking, that may be the potential cause of why they really truly transfer beyond the dollar amount.
Yeah, Ken Mastrole with us from the Mastrole Passing Academy. By the way, they take kids from everywhere, not just in South Florida or Southwest Florida, but those of you listening in Alabama, Tennessee, whatever, the Mastrole Passing Academy, you want to look into that. All right, let's get to Cam Ward, because everyone is on this now that the Titans are taking Cam Ward at the 1. After they took Will Levis a couple of years ago at the beginning of the second round, Levis has not developed, in Nashville. I am not ready to just throw him in a garbage can, but they're still obviously have a problem there at quarterback, but they've got problems in other positions. Cam Ward specifically is a fascinating case. This is a 0-star out of high school. I mean, this is a guy out of high school that had 0 stars, went to a junior college, and then ends up at Washington State, and then ends up at Miami. Now he's on the precipice of becoming the very first pick in the NFL draft. It's an incredible story. The question is, in your mind, is Cam Ward, is he worthy of being the number 1 pick in the NFL draft?
Yeah, I do. I think so. It's interesting because this year, someone asked me as part of a podcast to go in and critique Miami every week, to go in there, to cut up film, to watch, to specifically talk about Cam Ward. So I watched literally every snap of him playing this year, and really did a lot of deep diving in the research. So, I'm not going to say I know it all, right? But I feel like I have a good feel for, I could be completely wrong at the end of the day at draft day, but I've been around Callahan. Like when Callahan was with the Broncos and was becoming the OC, like we've kept in touch. I've talked to him. Now I have no insight to like who he's going to pick, right? I haven't talked to him about that stuff, nor would he ever share that. But I know the mind of how he operates. I mean, you want to talk about a fantastic coach, like in terms of just being studied under Peyton Manning and protections and everything that he's done, right? So what I think is breaking down Cam Ward, and it's like the perfect storm. He's going to a bigger market area, but it's not so big that like it's not a New York market or something, which he would be fine there. But I think everything fits to what they need. And watching him this year, his maturity, doing some research how he went, like you said, a 0-star. I mean, he threw the ball 12 times a game in high school. They were in like a wing T style of offense. To go to Incarcerate Ward, to become one of the best players in the country, to move to Washington State, and then you look at the amount of snaps that he's had, which is upwards greater than what Bo Nix, I think, had, or close to. And everybody liked that he had so much experience, and you just see what he's done. So I think he fits that in terms of what you want in a locker room, what you want in maturity and development. You know, the things for him is going to be is just continuing to make the routine throws. Everybody sees the flash, but there looks like there's room for him to, you know, maybe not the pressure to be starter day one, but obviously to be in that role to where I think he would be in the perfect position with a perfect coaching staff to be that number one pick. It kind of becomes a no-brainer. But again, he's so talented in how he plays and his maturity level that I don't know how you don't pick that guy.
All right. So now what about the case with the Titans? You know, they got line issues. You know, they're improving with their skill positions around them. You know, they got other needs, obviously, that they have, but obviously it's such a quarterback-driven league now. You've got to have the quarterback. You know, is he the type of guy that could survive with a bad team, not a team that traded up to one, a team that, you know, earned the number one by being horrific last year? Is he a kind of guy that could survive that? Is he physical enough? Is he mobile enough to be able to deal with a scenario where, you know, he might be running around for his life a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's a solid looking guy, right? Like he can move, he can escape. I mean, you saw that, like if you watch the games, like, you know, the wizardry kind of in what the NFL is, it's not always just drop back and throw it, right? There's usually a guy that's a one-on-one matchup and you've got somebody in your face and you have to kind of create, like in that, they call it a dirty pocket or dirty space. Like, you know, the ability to just be a passer and not just, you know, throwing it all over the field. So really developed. I definitely do. And then obviously I don't know what the Titans cap space is like or what they look like in terms of making moves, but I'm sure they're going into this thing, if they draft him, with the back half of the draft being, you know, protecting him. Maybe there's some alignment, maybe there's some moves they make in the draft to solidify, you know, that offensive line. And then you just kind of chip away at those skill position players that you need to fill in those spaces. But, you know, I think to start, if you get a guy like that, I mean, how do you not take a guy that brings that kind of energy and excitement? I mean, he literally changed the pathway for University of Miami this year and put them on a different path, you know, and that all started from the quarterback position. So he's done that consistently over the last couple of years in the three teams he's been on. I mean, why not make this the fourth team? You know, going. What
about the dude factor? You know, you got to be a good dude. You got to be a guy that they like in the locker room. You know, we know that Baker Mayfield had some issues at Cleveland when he got there, and he matured, you know, in his 20s. He's a different guy now than he was when he was a rookie in Cleveland and a young player there. So what about that part of Cam Ward? Is he a dude? You know, that we're
yeah. So
you know, yeah.
So I can't speak from talking to him, but I know a lot of guys at the University of Miami that are closely tied to or coaching there. And everything has been like, he comes to the sideline. It's all about the team chemistry of him helping guys around him, spending the extra time. Like that guy's going to put in the work. And I think, like, I did a lot of research on just his background, like his parents, his family, brothers and sisters, like comes from a super solid family. Sister, I think, was like, you've got coaching in the family, a teacher, dad's been in a long time job. Like, you know, there's a lot of stability there in the way that he's learned and kind of just played, like just been a natural athlete, played all these different sports. You think about it, he's gone through all this adversity. He knows where he's coming from, really, really like rooted into like family. And I think all I've heard about him is like, he is constantly pushing those guys to be better, like putting in the extra work. And, you know, when you go through this draft process, you are simply just trying to find out how much can the guy handle, right? Can he handle a lot on his plate in terms of like decisions? And how much does he really genuinely love football? I mean, everybody says they love football, but when you get to this level, like that's where you truly find out about how much this guy loves the game and is willing to be coached and to make this his like livelihood, you know, beyond all the money that he's getting paid. But I truly think that everything I've heard about him is like it's a no-brainer. Like, you've got a surefire, just mentally tough guy that's going to elevate that locker room. He's going to win over the locker room as well.
Come Mastrole with us, the Mastrole Passing Academy. All right, let's go to the other dude, Shedeur Sanders, which, there was a time where he was the number one guy, and then it became, all right, Cam Ward's going to be the number one guy, but clearly Cleveland has to take Shedeur Sanders. Now it appears that maybe he's going to be sliding a little bit. What are your thoughts about him? And particularly, is there a, Daddy Dion factor? Is there an issue there where, it's a little bit like bringing the circus to town if you were to take Shedeur Sanders? What do you think happens with him, and what do you think should happen with him as far as his skill set?
So another guy, like, I went up to a UCF Colorado game to watch. I got a kid on the team that plays, and I watched that, and it is absolutely like, a production, right? The whole thing from like pregame to what they do in the locker room to all the people that they bring around. So he's always had like that, it's not like a kid come from a small school and he's going to limelight of all the distractions, right? I mean,
right.
I give him a lot of credit. Like, when it's game time, like, he's dialed in. There's no distractions for that kid. And I've heard that, he puts in that work and he is a student of the game. Obviously there's a little bit of that Dion factor, but I would say this, like, athletically, you got to have a good line around him. He's a good athlete, not obviously a great athlete, but I was very impressed seeing him play live. He was very accurate, very precise in his passing, made excellent reads. I mean, really, really improved from year one to year two, especially with the poor line that he had the year before. So I think going to a team, that is probably a big question mark, but I think he'll know, and I'm sure his dad has educated him on this a little bit as well. But, when you get to that locker room, it's not about the NIL money anymore. I mean, you've got grown men that are into like their later years of their playing career. They've got families there. They want to win. I mean, they're there to win a Super Bowl. They're there to change the program. I mean, you look at Myles Garrett, he wanted to leave because he wanted to win. So I think if he'll understand that quickly, that this is about football and this isn't about your brand. So you better be on board. And I'm sure that he's getting some of those questions, or getting a lot of those questions. So that's just, that's going to be the true factor, is if he can come in there and do that, but I definitely think he's a guy that is going to be studying, going to be prepared. It's just, is it the right fit? And is there going to be longevity there with the coaching staff? Are you going to be changing positions and coordinators constantly? Then it's going to become an absolute nightmare.
So this surprised me. I went and looked at QBR, the total QBR rankings of the quarterbacks in the NFL in 2024. And I was shocked to find that 18 of the 20 were first-round draft picks. I mean, I thought there were going to be more guys that were second, third, fourth-round picks, and all there was Brock Purdy, who famously was the last pick in the draft 4 years ago, and Jalen Hurts, who was at the top of the second round a few years ago, and that was it. Everybody else was a first-round guy, and we know that half of the guys drafted in the first round are busts. So we get past Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. Your thoughts on some of these other guys? I mean, Jackson Dart has seemed to have worked his way into the first round, but Jalen Milroe is an enigma. We don't know what to think about Jalen Milroe. Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, who looked really good. He's, at times for Syracuse. Dylan Gabriel's a little guy. And that kid from Louisville, a lot of people are starting to talk about Tyler Shaw, I think is how you say his last name. Tyler Shaw, and he's 6'5", 219 and can sling it. So what are your thoughts about it? It seems like there are a lot of guys in this draft that are going to have an opportunity to make money playing in the NFL, even if there's not a Jaden Daniels or a Caleb Williams or, a potential superstar there's no Joe Burrows or, those kind of guys in this draft, it seems like.
Yeah, so, I mean, if I'm looking at this thing, I'm saying to myself, and talk about Jalen Milroe. So I look at, let's say, Richardson from Florida. Is it Richardson?
Yeah. That kid was not ready. He should have stayed at Florida for another year.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's a first-round pick. People see him and they go, man, this guy is so physically gifted, right? He is incredible. Every time and no knock on him, he might become better. And, again, a lot has to do with coaching and patience. But we're talking about the NFL, the best of the best, right? Week in and week out. The smartest defensive coordinators in the league, they're going to figure you out. And if you're not accurate, look, it all boils back to if you're not an accurate quarterback, you don't just suddenly become accurate in the NFL, right? Especially like what goes on. So, I just wonder when people get so enamored by like, oh, he's running a 4.3 or he's a 4.4 guy. Like, yes, he's throwing the ball better than he ever has in shirt and shorts. Like, what has he done on the football field in big games? Look at all the tight throws that he's had to make. And you start breaking that film down and you go, is he consistent enough to play at this level? Right. So I think that's the things you have to take into account. You have to bypass all the physical numbers of like hey, this guy can throw it 70 yards or whatever the case may be. Right. So I like him. I don't love him in the first round. I just wouldn't. I don't.
And he's not Jalen Hurts, right? Everybody's making the comparison to Jalen Hurts, and Jalen. Hey, look, when Tua took the job from Jalen couldn't throw in the ocean. I mean, he was missing little flares and stuff. He went to Oklahoma, got better, and now he's actually a pretty accurate quarterback in the NFL. But I don't feel like Jalen Milroe is Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel that way.
I think, what I think? I think there was some things that in defense of Hurts, you come in, you got Tua, there's a constant battle. Not that he wasn't afraid to compete, but there was some of that going on. And then he went to Oklahoma, and obviously Lincoln Riley did a great job with him. And yes, he played phenomenal in the Super Bowl. He was dead accurate in the Super Bowl, and that's what put him kind of, besides the defense. So, I don't know about Milroe as the passer. And then, Jackson Dart obviously is an exceptional player, and I think he's going to find his way. But I think guys like Kyle McCord, he'll either be on or sometimes he'll be a little off, right? But he's definitely, and then you take a guy like Tyler Shaw that a lot of people are high on, older guy, which doesn't bother me with the age, maturity level, and can sling it around in that type of system. I know that, Brom's going to get you ready for NFL. Like, I've been around some NFL guys like Mike White that's playing in the league now, a kid named Brandon Dougherty that was with the Dolphins for a little bit. Brom gets you ready. He gets you NFL ready. So those guys are going to be X's and O ready. So he's definitely a prospect. But then, after that, you start getting into the mid-round guys like the Dylan Gabriels, guys like I've worked with this year, Curtis Rourke, who's going to probably be, from the injury, or a Seth Hennigan in a later round. But, there's a lot of things on the back half of the draft. But I think once you get past that Cam Ward and kind of Jackson Dart and Shadur Sanders, then there's a little bit. And that Shaw kid could sneak in there as well. But I think you start dropping off a little bit. You say, am I willing to pick a first-round quarterback? There's too many other good skill position players. Let these guys develop, and I can get them in later rounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're first-round guys, but it feels like somebody's going to draft Kyle McCord in the third or fourth round, and he's going to flash a little bit. Or somebody's going to snack Tyler Shaw, early in the second round, and all of a sudden he's going to do something. I just feel that way. I'm not a big fan of Riley Leonard or Will Howard, the two guys that were in the national championship game. I'm not sure what to think about Quinn Ewers. These are all, second, third day kind of guys that are gonna find a place.
Yeah, I don't love Quinn Ewers. I think he's a good quarterback, but there was it's that taking
something
you to
missing.
The next level over the top kind of player that just I didn't see that, right? Like, surrounded by an incredible offensive kind of philosophy with Sark and the players that he had around him. But I felt like some of the key plays that he had to make as a quarterback, just didn't warrant being a top 2 round, maybe a late to middle round guy, and you, like you said, develop and you take a shot on him. Maybe he's a P squad guy. But definitely some of these guys that, the value is let them develop. But that's the hard part too, Tom. You're quick to be the first impression, you get in there and if the system's not right. I mean, a lot of guys got hurt last year, the year before, and a lot of guys got, thrusted into playing the quarterback position early. So your window is even, smaller. So there's a lot of mental reps when you're the backup.
Well, that's why I hope the UFL makes it, because that's a great development opportunity for guys there. Some of these guys that we mentioned, maybe it would be good to go to the UFL and get reps and then still see if they develop into an NFL quarterback. Ken Mastrole has been our guest, Mastrole Passing Academy. Kenny, I appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for doing it, and we'll look forward to chatting again.
Hey, it was great talking to you, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
All right, man. Thank you.
Enjoy that barbecue, my man.
Yeah, I will. You know that, man. I'm going to hit that again, I think. All right, thanks. Kevin Strolling. Radio voice, Joe. For a quarterback, right? Radio voice. He's got a radio voice.
Well, he can project.
Yeah.
Which is what you need when you're a quarterback needing to yell across 50 yards across your line.
Yeah. No, he's got that radio voice. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. One more segment. Phone lines are open. You want to react to anything on the show today, you can do it. 256-576-4977 will get you into the show. It's the Thom Abraham Show. Back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, a leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Can't get a ticket? Never miss a second of Huntsville Havoc hockey.
Huntsville has a 2-on-9, and that
With the Havoc Zone, only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
And welcome back as we have a final few minutes here at Hickory Store Craft Barbecue in Monrovia. We remind you that tomorrow we will have a Friday trifecta. Those of you listening in Nashville or new to the show in Nashville, what I'm interested in is to see if anybody that's listening in Nashville that was listening to the show when it was last on in Nashville, which is now 9 years ago. I didn't realize that it had been that long. I believe it was 2016. I may be just making that up, but I think it might have been, I think it's 9 years. I cannot believe how fast time flies. I mean, it's just incredible. It's been 18 years since I first got on the air in Nashville in 2007. It was July of 2007. And that's 18 years in July this year. It's just mind-boggling to me. So I'm wondering whether or not, where is Ben is Smyrna? Where is Dr. Detroit, who continued to listen to the show on the app out of Huntsville and continued to call the show? So I'm very interested in that part of it. Tomorrow we have a Friday trifecta. Now, we do the Friday trifectas typically just during the football season, but we have special ones for special events. And we'll have one this week. We'll have one next week. All right. We have our Final Four-fecta tomorrow. All right. Where we're going to ask you to give us the two teams in the national championship game and who's going to win a national championship game. Okay. So you'll just simply say Auburn and Houston, and Auburn wins, or whatever it is that you think it's going to be. Duke and Florida, Duke to win. All right. That's going to be it. And we give away great prizes for whoever can hit the thing. We're going to do one the following week for the Masters. We do the Masterfecta. We always do the Masterfecta. All right. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. We'll have that for you tomorrow. All right. There is this at ale.com. They've got one of these bracket things going on. And what they're trying to determine is who's the best player in Auburn history and who's the best player in Alabama history. And the Final Four for Auburn is Cam Newton versus Pat Sullivan. And the other side, it is Bo Jackson versus Cadillac Williams. All right, we didn't need to do all of that. We didn't have to have a bracket of 16 for Auburn. It could have just been, is it Cam Newton or is it Bo Jackson? My first knee-jerk reaction was, it's Bo Jackson, right? Greatest player in Auburn history. And then I add in, the baseball factor and so on in multiple years and everything else. But then you look at Cam Newton in that year he had. Kramer at the text window says, Cam Newton won him a national championship. That could offset Bo Jackson's athleticism. Joe says it's Bo Jackson, and he's not. And Joe, you're not even giving it a second thought, right? You're not even considering that maybe it's Cam Newton is the greatest player ever in Auburn history?
No, and I was at every single one of those games in 2010. And I mean, look, he was dynamic at that point in time, and it's still one of the most dynamic seasons in Auburn history.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between having a dynamic season and literally just walking around on the face of the earth is dynamic. And that is who and what Bo Jackson is.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't count. We're talking about what did he do as a player, and that's it. Bo Jackson, yeah. I mean, he wins the dude factor for sure, and everything else he did, in his career.
If you did professional career, you could actually, I would definitely give an argument and lean towards Cam over Bo.
Except for Bo, Bo was playing half a season. He did some spectacular stuff till he gets hurt in that playoff game against Cincinnati.
But see, that's, that's I don't know. Career. And also, again, if you wanted to argue about Cam and Bo at Auburn, I didn't see Cam Newton hitting any home runs at Plainsman Park.
That's what I'm saying. But again, it's just his football. If you look at his foot, and it's also just one season versus three for Bo. Now, on the Alabama side, the finalists are Derrick Henry and Derek Thomas on one side of the bracket, and the other side is Devontae Smith and John freaking Hanna, the greatest offensive lineman in the history of the NFL. All due respect to Devontae Smith, he was a 1 seed All right. First of all, he takes down Dwight Stevenson in the first vote. Dwight Stevenson is one of the best centers to ever play football in the history of football. I would have voted Dwight Stevenson and Devontae Smith when they got out of the first round. The other thing that blows my mind is that Julio Jones was a 10 seed. Julio Jones was a better wide receiver than Devontae Smith. Julio Jones didn't have, Tua Tagovailoa throwing to him. If Julio Jones had Tua Tagovailoa throwing to him, Julio Jones would have broke every record in the history of mankind in college. So John Hanna takes down Devontae Smith. Derrick Henry takes down Derek Thomas. It comes down to John Hanna or Derrick Henry. It's unfair. It's unfair to put skill guys against linemen. It's almost like you got to have different categories. I would lean slightly to Derrick Henry. But it's hard not to say John Hanna was maybe the best player. He's the best player in his position, so he may be the best player in the history of Alabama football. So those are out there. All right, that's going to do it for us. I want to thank the crew here at Hickory Store Craft Barbecue. Football Friday tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Patriots trading quarterback Joe Milton III and a 7th-round pick to the Cowboys for Dallas's compensatory 5th-rounder. Milton will back up starter Dak Prescott. A pair of teams separated by